All right, guys, so this is Bernie. He's a 7-month-old Berni Doodle who is just wrapping up our 4-week advanced off-leash obedience board and train program when this video is taken. So this is the day before he goes home. We're doing some proofing, in a busy public location off-leash. And as you can see, Bernie is looking pretty good. We're doing some off-leash healing here. We've got some people, we've had some other dogs in the mix, and Bernie is pretty on it. He's nice and engaged with the handler. He's not looking flat, he's looking pretty happy to do everything, really just understanding the assignment. And I wanted to make this video because, one, we're proud of the work with Bernie. We think he turned out really great, but two, we have been getting a lot of doodles lately. We're getting pretty familiar with the breed. They're pretty popular for a while there, and people are starting to have behavioral issues they're seeing in them. And we kind of want to talk about how we combat it. So generally what we see in doodles, Bernedoodles, Golden Doodles, Labradoodles, those seem the most popular ones, but in the crosses, in general, they tend to be very anxious dogs. So they tend to be very nervy, they tend to not deal with stress particularly well. However, they're not super driven. So their ball drive, their drive for play is not super high. Their food drive can be kind of middling. Like some of them, it's okay, but as soon as they get stimulated in an environment they're not comfortable in, they're not confident in, it goes completely away, and you kind of have like no way to motivate the dog. So that's pretty on par for the course with Bernie. He was displaying a lot of anxious behaviors in the home. He was just barking in the crate constantly. He was reactive on walks. There was just all this energy always coming out of him, and they just didn't really know what to do with it. They were trying to get him to play with them, like doing all the things that you think would be the solution to this. They're doing all the right stuff, but it just wasn't a dog that was interested in it. So how we dealt with this with Bernie is we put obligation on him to slow him down. So we dealt with the loose leash walking, got him behaving on the leash, stopped pulling, stopped just having an arousal fest in his environment, kind of slowing him down, getting to focus on the handler. We did a lot of functional obedience, teaching him impulse control. And food was motivating for him in those low distraction environments. So that's where we lived for a long time, working through the basics in the low distraction environments where we had the motivation, but also putting the obligation on him to slow him down, to get him to start getting more confident in the handler, to get him to start kind of seeing the world in a more less aroused state, so we can start to take this stuff in, so we can start to get desensitized to it, be a little more confident, and have to, quite frankly, use his brain a little bit more, which doodles are often not great at. Now, the beautiful thing about doing the functional obedience training, by teaching him how to deal with productive stress, he gets better at working through those stressors, which he's going to encounter in his day-to-day life. So we start him, on prong collar obedience, getting him used to leash pressure, getting him used to, not pulling and there being a consequence for that. We start transitioning him to the e-collar with the conditioning, and we get right up to the level where, the whole week leading up to this video, we were proofing him on the e-collar at like high corrective levels after we've, conditioned and taught him everything for the first couple weeks. So he has a very good understanding of it, but make no mistake about it, by the time we shot this video, he was proofing on the e-collar for about a week at high levels, but he understood them. So what we're doing here is we are, again, slowing down the dog, but we're teaching him how to deal with some productive stress, teaching him how to be successful, making as many clear black and white rules for him to succeed with, painting those lines in the sand for him, as crystal clear as possible. And with dogs like this, they really do thrive with the less decisions they need to make, the better. Like he really he knows what he can do, he knows what he can't do, and he knows if all else fails to look to his handler. And because we've gotten him better at dealing with stress, and we've used the obedience to slow him down, desensitized him bit by bit, we're working our way up to these really busy environments, he will take food from me here. He's done it so many times, so many reps across all these environments where when I reward him and pay him, like he will take food here. The nerves don't get the better of him. So I know we're talking about a doodle here, but this really is the approach we take with most of the dogs that come in. And to some degree, all the dogs that come in. And this is where you get the dogs at the end of it, where they are happy to work with the handler. They've got tons of freedom. because they understand everything. You know, it's crystal clear for them, and we're slowly teaching them how to deal with more pressure bit by bit. And by the end of it, you know, we don't have these nervy mess of dogs. They're confident. They have successfully worked through pressure across a very, you know, a large skew of environments and situations, and this is the end result, what you're seeing here.